Welcome to the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Geisel. This podcast is dedicated to helping you create a life that sets your soul on fire. I believe that is truly possible for everybody, but you have to be willing to do a few things. You have to be willing to let go of your past conditioning. You have to be willing to break free from societal norms. And you have to be willing to get really curious about your life and how you can start to look at it differently. Each week, we will hear stories from people who have done exactly this. People who chose to disrupt the life path they were on, go against the grain, and share the lessons and perspective shifts they had to make along the way. Every episode is committed to not only inspiring you and connecting you with other amazing humans, but actually giving you the tools you need to use this information in your own life so that you continue to evolve and reconnect with your highest self. Are you ready? Let's have some fun. Welcome to another solo episode of the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast. I am excited to have you here and grateful that you're taking the time out of your day to listen to this. Today, I really want to take a second to dive into not keeping your circle too small. And this might actually sound a little bit counterintuitive to things that maybe you've heard in the past, which is like, you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I totally get that. Andrew and I, we heard this quote one time, and it was, you're a sum of the people you meet, the places you go, and the books you read. And we didn't realize until probably about a year ago how true that actually is for us. And this is why I want to talk about not keeping your circle too small, because the thing is that every relationship that you have is teaching us something, both near and far. So whether those relationships are the people right around you, or people that are just far away from you, like physically, mentally, all those things, they're still teaching us something. And people come in and out of our life at the right times, and they're all teachers. Like everyone is your teacher, and that can show up in so many different ways. So it just brings us to a different way of looking at relationships and the things that are going on around us. Because I know personally, I had somebody come into my life, and you wouldn't say that he was a good guy or a great guy. And we ended up into a partnership with him in a business. And I could have looked at that situation very differently. But what I know is that he was brought into my life at the exact right time, because there was a lesson that I needed to learn. And that lesson, looking back, was very much that I was on the path to becoming something very similar if I didn't change who I was and what I was doing and the way that I was acting. And so when I say that, people can come into our lives and they can teach us compassion. They can teach us forgiveness, which is also something that he taught me. They can teach us confidence. They can teach us how to have difficult conversations. Maybe they teach us what our pain points are. They teach us more about our worthiness, our self-esteem, joy in our life. It goes on and on there, but there's always a lesson. And it's fascinating because as we've traveled, we have realized that we learn from, I swear there are angels out there that just get dropped into your life at exactly the right time. Because there were Uber drivers that it seems like every time we got into one of those Uber vehicles, we were learning something new. And maybe part of that is that we're open to learning new things, but it's like they always had something to say that resonated with exactly where we were at in our life. And so that was kind of cool. Again, business partners, friends, family, children. So this actually came up in a white light session I did the other day, is what are our children there to teach us? Because just as much as we teach them, they can teach us so much as well. And so this is why it's my belief that it's important to not keep your circle too small, because this opens you up to learning new things and different ways of being. And from my experience, when you keep your circle too small, you're naturally going to surround yourself with people who think and act similar to you. And that's actually extremely constricting to your evolution, to your growth, because What if there's something else to be experienced, but none of you are in other circles to bring those things to that circle, and you can see how that could go. So my point is, like, be open to getting in different rooms. Be open to learning new things. Go into every conversation with the intention of coming out and learning something, right? And this is not just when it comes to people. This is, what are the books that you're reading, right? I just started, yeah, this probably isn't something I want to admit, but I've read so many personal development books, and I've been in that place where it seems like I would only read a book that had a quote unquote purpose. And I started reading fiction books again and remembered how much I love them. But I also learned so many life lessons from those fiction books as well. So, what are the books that you're reading? Where are you traveling? Are you traveling to the same place every time you travel? Or are you experiencing new places and new atmospheres? And one of the most transformative trips Andrew and I ever took was going to Guatemala in a mission trip. And for those of you who don't know, I'm not tied to a specific religion. So walking into a Baptist mission trip was a little frightening for me. It was frightening for me to have to stand up in front of everybody and tell them that I didn't actually resonate with a religion. But I got in the room, and that I didn't let that fear of being judged or being different than other people, I didn't let that stop me. I actually let that drive me. And it was one of the most transformative trips I've ever taken, because I got to learn so much, not just about myself, but about other people. And that was really cool too. Even like the simplest thing of like, what shows are you watching? What are you putting into your head? Like, do you watch the same thing all the time, or do you experience like new things, right? Is there another church that you could go to, or just like who knows what it is? But my challenge to you is to get in a different room, get around different people, put yourself in a different situation. So I challenge you to do one thing different this week. Just one thing different. Maybe that's working out at a different time. Maybe that's going to dinner somewhere else. Maybe that's picking up a fiction book instead of a personal development book, or vice versa. Maybe that's taking a different route to work. Maybe that's reading a different Bible. So, comfort in the moment might feel good, but it will also keep you stuck. So, think about that. I want to hear from you. Make sure you shoot me a text at 248-206-3431. Tell me the one thing that you did different this week. Tag me on Instagram doing that thing, whatever you want to do, but I want to connect with you, and I want to hear about how you're actually taking the things that are being talked about on this podcast and using them to evolve, because you never know where it's going to take you. See you next week.